Hello, hello. What's up, guys? My name is Aisha Ravan, and welcome to my first episode of my podcast, Spoken Unapologetically. I'm super excited to be here with you guys and finally doing this. Lord knows it's been a long time coming, and it's time for me to be obedient. So here we are. Gotta let that perfectionism go, you feel? So, today's episode, we are going to be talking about building peace from the pieces, how rock bottom can be the foundation, starting point to all of our growth and my growth specifically. We all go through rock bottoms, multiple seasons of rock bottoms, and man, are they fun. When you hit like those seasons, that's just when I personally feel really disconnected, emotionally drained, and I can sometimes feel lost or not like myself. Honestly, I feel like I am in a season where I'm going through a rock bottom. But before I get into that, we'll talk about a time when that was like my most significant rock bottom that really woke me up to personal healing and growth and seeing like the brighter side and kind of having a change of perspective of what rock bottom can do for me and what it does for others. I knew that like so I want to say about how long has it been now? It's been about since I want to say it started in 2020. It's what, 2025 now? Yeah. So about 5 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. I was in my junior year of college. That's when I really stopped going home all the time, like on the weekends, and just really like basked in my college experience. I had my own apartment with my roommates, and in the summertime, that's when I would be at home, right? The summer leading into my senior year, I was at home a lot again. And I think being away for a little bit, I realized, wow, like I knew that I had things to heal from my upbringing. And I've come to learn that a lot of the things that I went through as a child was not normal and not okay. And it all started to hit me. I was starting to really act out of anger and be very reactive, especially when I was drinking. So this summer, I'll make it really, really, really quick. That summer, I was drinking a lot, okay? I was drinking to the point where I was blacking out, just saying all types of stuff that I did not want my family knowing about how I truly felt about them, especially when I, like I said, light bulb clicked. And I'm like, you know what? This was abuse. What I went through was abuse, all different sorts of types of abuse. And it's crazy how much kids normalize the abuse that goes on at home because they don't know that that's not okay. And so again, when I'd black out, I'd say all types of stuff, say how I was really feeling, what they did to me. And again, I was not in a space for it was not time for me to say all that. When that happened a few couple times, I was like, okay, clearly there's some things I need to work through. And how I'm going about my day to day is just not it's not it. I need to find something else. I don't know what, but I just gotta try whatever. If I like I gotta know what I like, what I don't like, what works for me, what doesn't. And I always thought, people say meditating and yoga, you hear all this stuff, journaling, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I could sit and do that. But I was like, what else? Like, what? I have like no other option, like literally. So I started to get into that. Started little. I started with 5 minutes of journaling, 5 minutes meditation, 5 minutes yoga. Went outside and did all those things. And man, that first week was so hard. Just being like, because your mind just all over the place. My mind was just literally everywhere. I'm like, how is this going to help me? But by the end of that first week, and I started to sprinkle in some affirmations because I just think that was I thought that wasn't going to work. I thought that was going to be some BS because I really had so many negative thoughts about myself. I was literally my worst enemy. And I know y'all feel that. Like, we can be seriously our worst critic. You don't realize like where that stems from. Like, you just think, like, dang, I just naturally think of myself in this way, but that's not true. You come to realize that's not true. It's just something that you have learned, you have been told that you have, I guess, accepted for yourself. So I started to do those things. By the end of the first week, I was like, this kind of feels a little like I feel some relief a little bit. I know I'm not exactly perfect at this just yet, but I do feel like a little change. So maybe I should keep giving it a go. Some weeks go on, I start increasing time a little bit up to 10 minutes, 15, nothing crazy. And oh my gosh, it went from me being like, I don't see the point to me needing to do this every day because it was actually like helping me release all the that pent up anger and resentment. Yeah, like it made me feel, honestly, I didn't even know like myself. Like I didn't know, I feel like it's so easy for like a lot of us to wear a false self mask, whether to fit in or just to, because you've always been in survival mode, you just want to people please. You've never been able to really feel like you can make choices for yourself. Like you feel like you have to live for others. When I started to do those things, I feel like the mask started to lift. And I was like, oh, okay, how I've been living life, I'm not happy at all. This is just not what I want. This is not fulfilling to me. I started to see people for who they really are, whether it was family and friends. I saw myself for who I really was in that moment. Because let's be real, like when you heal, you have to kind of look at yourself in the mirror. Like you are responsible for, obviously, like when people hurt you, they have that responsibility of hurting you as well. But at a certain point in time, you have that responsibility to kind of be real with what that turns you into, who that turns you into, and it's your choice to be different. Like see the version of yourself you don't like, and so that you can transform yourself into the better version of yourself. Yeah, that really kickstarted things for me. I feel like I went from a place where I didn't know how to rebuild, but I just knew I was tired of surviving and just feeling like I was just there. I was just, what's that? Yeah, I just felt like I was there. I just felt like I wasn't really living. I was, oh, what's the word? I can't think of it. It's gonna get me. But yeah, I always feel like the first step is just when you really allow yourself to be with yourself. It's so scary because you're like, when I'm just by myself and things are quiet, your thoughts loud, emotions loud. But I feel like when I allowed myself to do that, that was when I was able to slowly start looking inward and asking myself, what is it that I really need? What is it that I really want out of life? Who is it that I want to become? I wanted peace. So I need to take steps to choose peace. Not because it's easy, but because you get tired of that unhappiness. And when you stay in that funk, it feels like I felt like I was choosing unhappiness. I was choosing chaos, and that's where I realized like I'm responsible. I feel like I could talk for forever, but there is a lot for me to unpack through this podcast that I'm excited to unpack with you guys. I'm excited to share my story with you guys, some of my experiences, learn your experiences and hear your stories, how we relate or how we differ. I really do feel like there's power in storytelling in all of us. Yeah, I talked a little bit about how rebuilding started to look like for me, like how I shifted my habits and how those habits allowed me to start creating boundaries because I did not know what boundaries were. Like what I was overstepping other people's boundaries, they're overstepping mine, especially in my family. Like they don't even know boundaries, which is why I didn't know them. So like I realized like it's okay for you to say no. You don't always have to do things for other people. You don't have to always seek other people's approval or do things to feel accepted. Like that was so ingrained in my mind. And although, like, I've started to find things that help me kind of rebuild a little bit, growth is not linear. You have moments where you take steps back. And if you're like me, I beat myself up like, oh my gosh, I was just doing so good. And now I'm back over here doing what I said I don't want to do anymore. But you have to give yourself grace. That was my biggest thing that was so hard for me was giving myself grace and knowing that this is a marathon, not a race. Like literally the baby steps are so fundamental to, yeah, your healing, your growth overall. I still remind myself, I may fall short and that's okay. But this, where I am right now, this is what is allowing me, this is the piece that is the start to learning how to listen to myself again and be aligned with myself for the first time, honestly. And I feel like that was the season where spoken unapologetically really began for me because that's when I started to really accept myself and see myself in a different light as of now. So that was 2020, but 2025 right now, like so much has changed. I was almost a college graduate at the time. So like you really feel like you're starting to step into adulthood. Now I've had some years in adulthood. I'm about to be 27 this year. Like what? And now I'm a mother. That's another thing. I'm a mom now. And ooh, guys, when I tell you, I started teaching after college, taught elementary, make it really quick. Taught fifth grade for 2 years. And I feel like it was such a blessing to be a mother figure to kids who were in similar situations as I was as a child. Again, I'll get into that more in future episodes, but to connect with them and to be a safe space for them. But I didn't realize how you could get, what is it, secondary trauma from them. So that also, like, I thought, like, oh, okay, I had been doing some healing. Cool. I feel closer to myself, more aligned to myself. And then started teaching these kiddos and hearing their stories, learning so much about them. And being an empath, ooh, just takes cake. I started to I easily put myself in other people's shoes, so it really started to F me up, let me tell you. Because there's only so much you can do for these kids. Of course, you can give them a loving and open space to be themselves in the classroom, but when they go home, you know? So that started to trigger me a lot. I had my own things going on with my romantic relationship with my boyfriend. He was always home traveling from work, and we had some disconnection within our relationship, so that was really messing with me because I have, okay, most of my life, I had an anxious attachment. He had more of an avoidant. We'll get more into that later, but if y'all know, y'all know. And so that within itself, like, I was struggling with learning how to detach. I was learning how to detach healthily while showing up for these kids. So as much as like I was healing, when you like meet, when God brings a partner into your life, God's like, let's see how much healing you really do. Like, let's see how well you can do now. Let me show you what else you got to work on, okay? And man, did he show me. I had a lot more things to heal, and it made me realize that healing really does take so much time. Like, it takes years, and that's okay. But I have to be real with myself. And so I had that stuff to kind of work with, learning how to be comfortable being by myself without feeling like I have to show up for people all the time, people please. I need to please myself, but I didn't know how to do that yet. And trying to show up for these kids and like make them feel loved and seen, it was just a lot. So anyhow, yeah, so that gave me secondary trauma. That was another moment of rock bottom in my life. I stopped teaching because I felt like that God was calling for me to move on and help in a different way. I did some more work with myself. Through my time of teaching, I started seeing my therapist. She's the best. I definitely recommend seeing a therapist for anybody and everybody, honestly. I don't feel like you need to be at a certain point of your life or be going through certain things to see a therapist. Like, for me, it's so healing, and I've had benefits when you have the right therapist, like it can be so helpful. I saw EMDR therapist for my CPTSD and then just my general therapist who I'm still seeing today. She has helped me a bunch through teaching. And then after I taught, boom, got pregnant. And we were still working out our relationship issues. Although he was back home, there's still things to kind of heal and work through together. We have both had traumatic upbringings, but we respond to those traumas differently. So that's where we would clash. And yeah, we'll get more into that later. But leading up to now, I'm a mama and I have a beautiful 19-month-old baby girl. And being someone who is like diagnosed with major depression, anxiety, and ADHD, like you're prone to postpartum stuff. But luckily, by this point, I had a strong toolbox built up that I'm able to utilize whenever I need it. But hey, even with that toolbox, I still fall short because we're human. And I feel like right now I'm in a place where I'm struggling because I am still breastfeeding. There's something else that I will share with you guys in the future that I'm navigating, or something new and beautiful that I am also going through. My hormones are all over the place, okay? And I have been very reactive. I worked so hard not to be so reactive anymore and to learn how to respond and pull back. That has been my biggest struggle is detaching healthily. I'm still learning that. And I feel like right now I've been struggling with my toolbox because I stay at home with my toddler and she loves her mommy to death and I love her so much. But it gets hard to do things for yourself, like how I was able to in the past. So I do feel myself going through little, I'll say like smaller seasons of rock bottom. Nothing crazy, but like there's moments where I really like, wow, like I feel so unaligned with myself. But then I remind myself that I try to remind myself I'm not broken. I'm rebuilding. It's not always going to be pretty. And peace is waiting for me. Underneath all the chaos, underneath all the noise, I just have to trust that God has a will and a way for me, and that everything I'm going through, He already knows I would be going through this. And He knows that I have the strength and the power to overcome anything I'm needing to. I often think about the time I went through rock bottom as a college student and how like seriously impactful that was. It made me realize that rock bottom can be like such an honest and fertile place to like grow from. And I feel like my present self and my future self really thinks my past self, my younger self, for taking that leap of faith on myself and honestly taking a leap of faith on God, because me listening to my intuition to take these steps, the nudges and signs God was giving me, it led me to now. And when I am going through harder times, I'm like, this shit sucks, but I just need to pull back and think, like, what is it that I need today? Like, what version of Aisha needs, what does this current version of Aisha need today? You know, what is working for me now? And I just have to play around with my routine a little bit. Still struggling to do that, but we'll get there. We will get there. Yeah. I know a lot of us go through it, and I just want to let y'all know that we are in this together. I'm not here at all to give any advice. I'm just here to just share what has shaped me, what has helped me, and what I'm still going through. This episode is about what can come after your little rock bottom seasons and how those seasons, even though some of them have broken me and broken you, how it can be the start of something freeing and something real and something, it could be the start to genuine happiness. It could be the start of alignment to yourself if you never felt that. I feel like we're always gonna have moments where we have to realign ourselves. And yeah. So if you are ever in a space where everything feels like it's falling apart, I just wanted to say I hope this reminds you that you're not starting over. You are just starting from experience. All your experiences that you go through can help you can help push you towards the person you want to be. Sometimes it takes a little change in perspective once you're able to be in that headspace to see and learn from what you've gone through. What you go through can help you transform into your most beautiful self and help push you towards your dreams, because hey, we all start from somewhere. Like we see these celebrities, influencers, some of them have like the craziest stories about where they started out, and look at them now. You know, like we all have to work towards being our best versions of ourselves and work towards our dream life. So yeah, please don't be discouraged, and know that how you feel is valid and what you're going through is valid, and that there really is a light under the tunnel. No matter how cliche that sounds, it is very much true. And like they say, like when you hit rock bottom, the only way, well, I don't know how to say this correctly, so chill on me a little bit. But when you hit rock bottom, the only other way for you to go is up, you know? So, yeah, it's gonna, it sucks sometimes. It sucks a lot sometimes, but I have faith that God will put his hand on you, his hand on me over our lives and help you break free from spirits of depression and anxiety and unhappiness. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in with me today. If you like this episode, please give this a like, comment. I would love to hear stories, how you felt or anything that you've experienced, any seasons of rock bottom that you've gone through. Please subscribe to this channel, and I'm excited for more. Bye.